On the 9th day of the holidays, Jersey gave to me a Chatham real estate market report you've got to see. From skyrocketing prices to surprising trends, welcome to the 12 Days of Jersey Real Estate Market Report. Each day will unwrap key insights to help you buy or sell smarter this season. Let's kick it off. Hey, I'm Jeff Massey, your local realtor here in the area. And whether you're moving in the next 7 days or 7 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so we can help you make an easy, stress-free purchase or sale and get you to the closing table. What we're going to do today and over the next couple of days is look at specific towns that we talk about a lot on the channel. A lot of them are Midtown Direct, and we're going to be ranking them from most affordable to most expensive. So what I'd like for you to do is guess which town is gonna come up each time, and then what we can do is see which one you think is gonna be the most expensive. I think it's gonna catch a few people off guard, but again, we're gonna look at most of the towns that we've talked about or highlighted on the channel. But before we get into that, I'd like to tell you about an upcoming buyers seminar that I'm gonna be doing on January 12th, 2025. And if you click the QR code over here, actually, it'll take you to a Zoom registration for the webinar. And we're going to be doing that on 8 p.m. It's a Sunday night. We'll be going through the buying process, getting people comfortable with any questions they might have. And then afterwards, if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one appointment, I'd love to do that and get to know you a little bit more personally. There'll also be a link down below in the description if you're on a phone, if it's easier to click that, and you could fill out the webinar form. All right, so it's day number 9 in the 12 Days of Jersey, and today we're talking about Chatham making it the 4th most expensive town in the 12 Days of Jersey towns that we're talking about. And in terms of Chatham, it gets a little bit more complicated, kind of going back to Morristown. It actually is made up of 2 different towns, and you've probably seen my video on that explaining it. So I won't go into that, but for the purposes of the data set, we're going to be looking at Chatham Township and Chatham Borough, just so we can kind of mix it in together and show that. So let's look over at the data. We've got both here in orange, we've got Chatham Township, and in blue we've got Chatham Borough. So we'll call that the Chathams combined there. In terms of new listings, let's look here. We had about 100 closing out the year in Chatham Borough, and almost 200 closing out the year to November in Chatham Township. Now you can see here, actually interesting enough, Chatham Township had an uptick in inventory, and Chatham Borough had a downtick of inventory. So that's interesting. If you average them out, maybe it looks more like a flat line. Maybe the homes that are further out, more in the less suburban, more spread out areas of Chatham, had a uptick of inventory there. But overall, kind of getting back to 2020, well, almost getting back to 2022 numbers, but not quite there yet. Definitely an uptick since the lull of 2023. Although for Chatham Borough, for Chatham Township, kind of halfway there, so to speak. So let's see what that did in terms of closed data, closing transactions for the 2 boroughs. And it looks like, again, kind of a flat line, pretty consistent across the 2. So let's see here. So that one, only 10 different for Chatham Township, and then for Chatham Borough. For Chatham Township, about 50 different. There are 45, so to speak. Thereabouts. Again, kind of middle of the road for the towns we've been talking about. Some of them have been higher, some of them have been lower, but pretty consistent there in terms of the data on closed sales. Now let's switch over to days on the market so we can see how quickly things are moving. So we'll start out with median, and again, pretty consistent between the 2 compared to the other towns. You can see a little bit of a divergence there with Morris Township taking a little bit longer at the beginning of the year, but then kind of both of them coming in line in 13 days by the end of the year there. So if we switch that over to average, a little bit more, maybe another additional week there to get things closed out, we're seeing a little bit of an uptick with Chatham Township there, where it's actually a low with Chatham Borough by the end of the year there. So let's look at the sale prices in terms of median. Chatham Township had a big peak there in May of 2024, hitting 1.4 million, bring it into that number 4 spot that we talked about. In terms of Chatham Borough, it took a little bit longer to rise up a little bit more, going into August, hitting 1.1 million. So by the end of the year, 1.11 for Chatham Borough and 1.32 for Chatham Township. You see a lot bigger homes out there, more bedrooms, a little bit more acreage to the lots. So that could be the reason why. I mean, that really is the reason why. So on average there, if we take the average of the two, it just peaks over Montclair in terms of the overall average price point there. But that gives you a pretty good sense if you're looking in that area, what you're going to need. And again, these are averages. So there's definitely more expensive homes there, as well as sorry, let me finish. That was median. Let's finish out here with average. Chatham Borough, just under 1.3, and Chatham Township over 1.4 million. So that does correlate with those higher price homes that I was talking about. I know some of them that are a little bit further out, you can get, close to $3 million homes in those areas for the bigger homes. Let's go to percent of list price. So what's the sale to list price ratio? And you can see here, kind of hovering just over 100% in 2023 at the beginning of the year. I said beginning of 2023. And then you can see things really exploded. Now, Chatham Borough, I could see the bigger explosion there is because it does have more of the local amenities, the library, the train station, the shops and restaurants, and it is a tighter area. So if you really wanted to be in the borough, there's a limited supply there. So this, given how tight, supply has been, we're seeing it jump up here to 110% by the end in terms of median. And then Chatham Township still hovering around 103, 102. And if we look at the average, here again, big numbers here, going up to 111% for Chatham Borough and a little bit higher to 104% for Chatham Township. It did peak for Chatham Township a little bit higher at 105.5 in September, but the last couple months have been a little bit less, a little bit coming off that. And again, those numbers are a little tricky because they do tie more to whatever the original list price was. And again, when the sample sizes are so small that we're looking at here, those can have a big impact on what the smoothness of the data line looks like. So let's finish it out here with month supply. Again, pretty consistent. Well, actually, this is interesting. So there's a pretty close number here at the beginning of 2024, 1.2, 1.3 months. And then actually by the end of the year, Chatham Township separated and Chatham Borough was 0.9, competing with New Providence in terms of the lowest absorption rate, or I should say the highest absorption rate, and then Chatham Township 1.7. So taking a little bit longer for Chatham Township there with that number. So that's the numbers for the Chathams here on the 9th day of the 12 days of Jersey. I hope you found that helpful. Now, if you're interested in any one of the towns that we'll be talking about, there's videos throughout the channel that you can watch. Don't forget to comment which town is going to be next. And also don't forget to register, click the link over here to register for the buyer webinar, and that's going to be January 12th. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Once again, my name's Jeff Massey. Thank you for letting me into your home tonight, and I hope that together we can help find your next one. In the meantime, we'll see you in the next video.